Good morning, viewers. This is Kasturi Day. Today I'm back with the continuation of the chapter, floral parts, which we are discussing the flower according to ICSE syllabus class 9. Okay, the chapter that is the flower. Okay, so in my last video, I had stopped with the sepals. We know that the floral parts, there are four floral parts. Okay? That is sepals, petals, then stamens, and then carpels. Okay, so we have discussed the sepals, and then I will start today with the petals. Okay, so before I start, I will request you to please subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet. And if you have subscribed, please ring the notification bell so that any new video is uploaded. As soon as it is uploaded, you will get the notification. And if you are liking the videos, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And also do meditate before starting your day. Okay, that will help you a lot. I'm telling you that will help you. It will increase your concentration. It will increase your willpower. It will increase your interest and become successful. Right? Okay. So please concentrate on meditation first, and then that will automatically increase your concentration. So let us start with the discussion. So we have, I told you that we have concluded this one. We have discussed this sepals part. Okay. Next, we will come to the petals, which is collectively known as corolla. The sepals are collectively known as calyx. The petals are collectively known as corolla. So corolla is the single unit of corolla is the petal. Okay. It is brightly in colored. Typically, they are brightly in color, which is due to the reason behind this is they attract the insects and birds for pollination. That's why they are brightly colored. Okay, and the number of petals usually match the number of sepals. Okay, there are number of sepals like that, there will be the number of petals. Okay, like if there are 5 sepals, so the petals will also be 5. Like that, it matches. Okay. Now, the petals may be separate or apopetalous or polypetalous. Okay. They may be fused also. Okay. They may be sympatalous. Okay. So they may be apopetalous or polypetalous, the same thing. That is, they may be separate or they may be marginally fused or fusion of like floral parts are known as phonation. Okay. Like floral parts, if they are fused, that means same floral parts, like the petals, if they are fused, that is phonation. Okay. Then if the sepals and petals, that is not phonation. Only the sepals or only the petals, if they are fused, that is known as phonation. So there may be sympatalous or for all or part of their length. Okay. Then it can be gamopetalous. Okay. That is throughout if it is fused. If it is marginally fused, that is sympatalous. If it is totally fused, tubular corolla, that is, it forms from the base to the top. That is total fusion with forming a tube-like structure, that is gamopetalous. Okay. Like example, you can see in blueberries, vaccinium, ericaceae, where there you can see in the corolla or the total corolla, that all the petals are fused together, forming throughout they are fused to form a tube. Okay, so that is gamopetalous. Okay, then the colorful and fragment petals, why they are colorful and why they have sense to attract the insects and birds for pollination. Okay. Then petals, another function of the petals, one is to attract the insects and birds, that is animals. And then another function is they protect the stamens and the pistils, that is the reproductive organs of the flower or the plant. The protection of this reproductive part of the plants, that is the stamens and the pistils, are protected when the petals form a tube. When they form a tube, they protect the plants. They protect the reproductive parts inside the tube. Okay. Then sometimes the sepals and petals cannot be distinguished. Okay. the sepals and petals, they look alike. Okay, they cannot be distinguished, and therefore, they can be known as perianth. Perianth. Okay. So when the sepals and petals cannot be distinguished, then both of them are known as perianth. For example, it's found in lily, onion, etc. We move on to the picture. See, it forms a petals. See, forms of petals. It is gamopetalous. See, it forms the total fusion is there for entire length. It is fused, and therefore they are known as gamopetalous. Here, the petals, all the petals are free. So that's polypetalous or apopetalous. Okay. Now, here you can see there are the distinction between calyx and corolla. See, calyx, that is the sepals, they are green in color, and the petals, they are blue in color. So we can differentiate the sepals and the petals. Okay, with a distinction between. Okay, here we can see the sepals and petals, they cannot be distinguished. The petals are not, variants are not resolvable into calyx and corolla. Okay. Petals and sepals, both of them are they are similar in look. Okay. Then perianth vestigial, here much reduced or absent. Here perianth, that is the petals and the sepals, which cannot be distinguished, which is known as perianth, they are very much reduced, so much reduced, or sometimes they're absent also. Here they are very much reduced. In the second case, there is no perianth present. Even in the third case, also no perianth present. Only the stamens here are visible. Here, the stamen and the carpel both are visible. Okay. Next, we move on to the next slide. That is, we come to the third floral wall, which is known as mbrosium, or you can say mbrosium is a collective term for stamens, or singular term. Its unit is stamens. Okay. Now, the stamens, which comprise of collectively they form the mbrosium. They have they have two structures. Okay, and they produce what? They produce anthers, which contains pollen grains. Okay, now that is the male gamete. Okay, now the two parts which they have. The stamens, they have the filament part, and the filaments are attached to the anthers. Okay. It's a lobe-like structure, bilobe structure, which contains the pollen sacs, and where there is pollen grains, and these pollen grains are they form the the male gamete for pollination. I mean, not pollination, it is for fertilization. Okay. Yes, pollination as well as fertilization. So first, let us discuss the number of stamens is sometimes the same as the number of petals. Okay. In sometimes what happens, the number of stamens is equal to the number of petals. But often the stamens are more in number or less in number than the petals. Okay, they are either more than the petals or their number is less than the petals. But sometimes they are equal also. Now each stamen, what do they have? They will have one filament. Okay, this stick-like structure, that is a filament, and an anther, which it is attached to the extremity, to the terminal point of the filament. Okay, which is generally bilobed. Now each lobe has two pollen sacs, which contains the pollen grains. Okay, and when these pollen sacs mature, they rupture, releasing the pollen grains. So the pollen grains are released when the pollen sacs mature. Okay, these pollen grains are generally powdery structures with different sizes, shapes and sizes. Okay. These pollen grains are generally powdery structures with different shapes and sizes. Okay, there are four main types of androeciums present in the flowers. Okay, they may be polyandrous, monodelphous, diadelphous, or polydelphous. Okay, polyadelphous. So, what is polyandrous? Polyandrous are there. Other condition is a condition when the stamens are free from each other. We can distinctly differentiate each stamens from one another. So the stamens are free. That's it. That is the condition of polyandrous. Polyandrous. Androsium being free. Okay? So polyandrous. For example, androsium of hibiscus. Okay, like China rose, we can see that they are free from each other. Then monodelphous. What is that? It's the condition where the filaments are fused to one group. Okay, so we will see the filaments are fused in one group. In one group they are fused. Now, for example, in China rose, cotton, etc. They're forming all are fused together. One bundle they are forming, and that is known as monodelphous condition. Then diadelphous, two groups they are formed, like P, where 9 are fused, one is free. So two groups, diadelphous. Then polyadelphous, many groups, more than one. Okay. So like in Bombex. Okay. In Bombex, we can see the filaments are fused in lots of groups, many groups. See, this is the structure. First picture is the structure of the stamens having the filament. Okay, this is the rod or rod-like, stick-like structure. That's the filament. This is the stalk-like structure. Then there is that at the terminal position at the extremity of the this one filament, there will be the anther. This is the bilobed anther, and each lobe has two sacs, and that is known as pollen sacs having pollen grains. Now, these are the pollen grains, shapes of the pollen grains that are, you can see the different size and shapes. Okay. Then these are the conditions of the stamens. Okay. This is a monodelphous condition where all the stamens are fused together, forming a group. Diadelphous condition, here two groups have been formed. One is totally free and the other 9 are fused together. Or many of them are fused together, another one is separate. So here you can see polyadelphous, lots of groups are there. Okay. So this is polyadelphous condition. Next, move on to the next slide. We come to the dinosium or pistil or carpel. Okay. Dinosium is a condition where the pistil is collectively known as dinosium, or the carpel is collectively known as the dinosium, which is the female reproductive part of the flower, okay, or the plant, you can say. So what does it consist of? It consists of 3 parts. There is stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, the ovary is the basal part, it's the swollen part. Then comes the stigma, which is, the style, the tube-like structure above the ovary, that is the style. And then comes the stigma, which is the head of the dinosium, which has a knob-like part where the pollen grains come and fall on it. Okay. So let us discuss, see what are the points which are here. It consists of stigma, style, and ovary. A stigma is a terminal knob-like part of the style and may have many lobes. It may have many lobes. It is hairy structure generally with glandular papillae secreting a sugary substance. So it can be hairy. It can have some glandular papillae so that it can secrete some sugary substance to attract, to make the pollen grains get attached to the to the stigma. Okay. Then the pollen grains land on the stigma and this gets stuck to this surface of the sticky surface of the stigma to perform the pollination process. Okay. Then the style is the stalk which connects the ovary to the stigma, which helps in the entry of the pollen tube in the ovary. Okay. Then what is the ovary? Ovary is the swollen basal portion of the carpel, which composes one to many carpels which can be fused together. One carpel it can be, or it can be fused, too many carpels which can be fused together. Okay. Then inner cavity can be of single chambered or it can be of multiple chambered, which are known as locules, which contains many small structures called ovules. Okay? So the inner cavity of the ovary, that can be of single chambered or it can be multiple chambered. It can have, which are known as locules, okay, and which contains the small structure known as ovules, which are connected to the walls of the ovary with minute connections called the placenta. Okay? That is connected, this ovule is connected to the wall of the ovary by minute connections are there, which is known as the placenta. Okay? Then during fruit formation, the ovary matures in the fruit and the ovules form the seeds. Okay, so when the ovary gets matured, okay, that is when fruit is formed, then the ovary changes into fruit and ovules changes into seeds. Next is, depending upon the number of carpels, gynoecium can be of the following types. Okay, so it can be of monocarpellary, that is single carpel is there. It can be bicarpellary, that means two carpels are there. Tricarpellary, three carpels. Tetracarpellary, four carpels. Pentacarpellary, five carpels. Multicarpellary, that is numerous carpels, more than five. Okay. So if it is more monocarpellary, that means its an example is Leguminosa. Then bicarpellary, Solanaceae. Tricarpellary, Liliaceae. Tetracarpellary, Datura. Pentacarpellary, Meliaceae. Multicarpellary, Marquaceae. Examples, these all are. Okay. So carpels, this is a flow chart. Like the carpels are so many types. So first is monocarpellary, then bicarpellary and polycarpellary. Now polycarpellary can be of tricarpellary, tetracarpellary, pentacarpellary or multicarpellary. Easy to remember. Next we move on. If the carpels are free from one another, they are known as apocarpus. And if they are fused, they are known as syncarpus. So, like the petals, we are told Cymos, like Petals, then apopetalus or polypetalus, like that. Here also, apocarpus, syncarpus. Okay? Syn means together, fused together. Apo means fused. Now, this monocarpus, okay, that is unicarpellate, that means one carpel is there. Single carpel. It can be fused or it can be singular. So monocarpus or unicarpellate gynoecium consists of a single carpel, like avocado, peach, etc. The apocarpus or chloricarpus gynoecium possesses multiple and distinct free carpels. So apocarpus or chloricarpus, that can be multiple and they all are distinctively free from each other. Okay? So that may be strawberry, buttercup, then micalia, etc. In syncarpus can be multiple, but they are fused. Okay? They are fused, like tulip, China rose, etc. So this is the picture of the carpels. See the China rose, this is the hibiscus where there are 5 carpels pentacarpellary and they are all fused together. Okay. Here also this is papaver multicarpellary pistil. Here also they are syncarpus conditions. All the carpels are fused together. Okay. Next is the polycarpellary condition, apocarpus condition. Okay, and it's multicarpellary and apocarpus condition in micalia, where all the carpels are free from each other. Now, this is the bicarpellary condition. Bicarpellary pistil is there. See here, the 2 carpels are there, separated. 2 carpels are separated. Okay? So that's this bicarpellary pistil. Now, this is the monitious condition. Okay, monitious condition is a condition where male and female flowers grow in the same plant. but the flowers are different. They are not, I mean, what do you say? Monitious generally they are complete, maybe there may be complete flower, and bisexual it can be, okay, and they are growing in the same plant. Okay? Male and the female flower are growing in the same plant. For example, maize, cucumber, pumpkin, etc. The dioecious plant, dioecious means, see, mono means one, and osium means house. So single house, one house of what? Male and female flowers. Now dioecious, di means two, and osium means house. So two houses. Okay? So that is male and female flowers growing in different plants. That is male plant and female plant, you can see. Staminate and pistonate. Different plants are there, like papaya, palm, etc. They both of them, they have different male plants and female plants. Okay. Now, next we come to the inflorescence or placentation. And inflorescence and placentation. So, what is inflorescence? Inflorescence is the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of the plant. We know the flowers grow on the plant, the shoot part of the plant, okay, shoot system of the plant. Now, how the flowers are arranged on the axis of a plant, that is known as inflorescence. So, inflorescence can be racemose or it can be cymos. Okay? And racemose can be of different types. First is raceme, for example, radish, spike, acanthamus, catkin, oak, example, I'm telling you, oak, spadix, maize, coron, candytuft, umbel, centella, capitulum, sunflower. Cymos can be of three types, that is uniparous kind, biparous kind, and multiparous kind. Uniparous kind is of Drosera example, biparous kind, jaspi, multiparous kind, caltrops. Caltrops. So it's easy to remember in the flow chart. So please follow this flow chart and note it down in your copy, and this will help you in remembering these type of. So many divisions are there. So next let us discuss what are racemose and what are the types of inflorescences. Let us discuss one by one. So first we come to racemose. Now racemose here, the main axis continues to grow without terminating in a flower. So what happens? The main axis, it grows without terminating into a flower. And from the sides, laterally, in an acrobatal manner, that is, old flowers are lower side and young flowers on the upper side. So, like this acrobatal manner, the flowers are arranged without terminating a flower at the main axis, at the top of the terminal point of the main axis. So, this is racemose. Now, racemose can be, I told you, it can be raceme, spike, catkin, spadix, coron, and umbel or capital. So, let us first discuss raceme. Raceme is when peduncle or the main axis, on which the flower is attached, there is elongated and the flowers are pedicellate. That is, they have a pedicel. The flower stalk is known as pedicel. So the main axis is elongated. It grows without stopping, and the flowers are pedicellate, like radish, mustard, etc. The spike, here the peduncle is elongated, the flowers are sessile. In raceme, the flowers were stalked, that is, they had pedicel, whereas spike, they do not have pedicel. They are sessile. Okay. For example, acranthus, right? Acidanthus. In catkin amentum, here the peduncle is thin, long, and weak. Okay. Peduncle is thin, long, and weak, The flowers are sessile and unisexual. That is, single sexual flower is there. It may be staminate or it may be what is it? Histid. Okay. It can be staminate or histid flower. So single, it's not a bisexual flower, unisexual flower. The flower is sessile and the peduncle here is thin, long, and weak. For example, mulberry, betula, oak, etc. Now we come to spadix. Here the peduncle is thick, long, and fleshy. Okay. So in catkin, the peduncle was thin, long, and weak. But in spadix, the peduncle is thick, long, and fleshy. Excuse me. The flowers are small, unisexual, and sessile. Okay. Small, unisexual, and sessile. Okay. Now, for example, say maize, androids, palms, colocasia, etc. Corim, it is in it, the peduncle is short. In both the cases, that is, in case of catkin and spadix, the peduncle is long. Okay. Rather, in racemose and spike also, their peduncle was elongated, long. But in corim, we can see the peduncle is short and all the flowers are present at the same level. Because the lower flower has a long pedicel than the upper one. The long pedicel, the lower flowers grow long, but if you have a long pedicel, then the upper flower is short. Like in cactus. Next, we move on to umbel. Umbel is an inflorescence in which the flower stalks are more or less equal in length. All the stalks are of equal in length, arise from the same point. From the same point they're arising and they have a same length. At the base of the flower stalks, there is a whorl of bracts forming an involucre. So, at the base of the flowers, from where the flowers are coming out, that is at the base of the pedicel of the flowers, what happens? There is a whorl of bracts. Bract whorl is there, forming an involucre, which is, for example, it is septal. Now, in case of capitulum or racemose hair or anthodium, here the peduncle doesn't grow. Here the peduncle doesn't grow. Okay, all these the peduncle was growing. Some had elongated, some were long, and some were small. Okay, here in capitulum the peduncle does not grow at all. It becomes broad, flattened, concave, or convex. Like in sunflower, we see here the peduncle does not grow. Next, we move on to Cymos. Cymos here, what happens as in racemose, the main axis grows and from the side laterally the flowers are coming out. But in Cymos, the main axis terminates in a flower. The older flowers are present at the upper portion and the younger ones are at the base. And in racemose, what were there? The old axis where older flowers were down and the younger flowers were at the top. Just the opposite here. This arrangement is called the basipetal succession. Like it is of the following types, like uniparous kind or monochasial kind, dichasial or biparous kind, multiparous or polychasial kind. So uniparous kind, that means the peduncle ends in a flower, producing lateral branches at the time it is of two. At a time. Okay, lateral branches at a time. And it's of two types again, helicoid kind and scorpioid kind. Scorpioid kind. Okay. So uniparous, what happens? It ends in a flower and lateral branches are coming out one at a time. So it can be helicoid or it can be scorpioid. Now dichasial or biparous kind, here the peduncle ends in a flower and from the basal part of the peduncle, two lateral branches arise at the same point. In the uniparous, one at a time. And dichasial or biparous, two at a time. These also end in a flower and this same arrangement occurs with the lateral branches like bougainvillea, chesney, teak, mirabilis, etc. Okay. And multiparous kind or polychasial kind, again the peduncle ends in a flower. From the base, of it, many lateral branches arise at the same time. And they also terminate in a flowers. So this is the picture of the inflorescence. See, this is the racemose. Okay, this main axis grows, and the flowers are coming out in this way. And the basal portion, towards the base, the older flowers are there, and as you go up, there will be younger flowers. Now, in case of Cymos, what happens? See, the main axis terminates in a flower, lateral branches go one at the same time. One at a time, that is uniparous. Two at a time, that is biparous, and three or more at a time, that is multiparous. Okay. Now, racemose, see, raceme, corymb, then carpels, raceme, okay, then spike, then catkin, then spadix, then simple umbel, compound umbel, capitulum, hypantodium, okay, then uniparous, biparous, and multiparous. Okay. Now we come to placentation. So what is placentation? Placentation is the arrangement of ovules within the ovary. Placentation means the arrangement of ovules within the ovary. Arrangement of ovules in the ovary. It has some taxonomic value, how to name the plants that can be done from this placentation. So it is usually submarginal in a simple pistil. Okay? Simple pistil, or you can say female sex organ, it can be submarginal. In a compound pistil, simple pistil, that is just where there is only one female sex organ, there it is submarginal, but in compound pistil, where there are two or more carpels are there, placentation can be parietal, it can be axial, it can be free central, it can be basal, it can be laminar, or it can be marginal. Okay? So in parietal placentation, they have carpels which are united by their adjacent margins. Okay? Adjacent margins will be united. It's like this and this. If these two are the two carpels, then they are adjacent margins, they are enclosed. They are fused. Okay. So like this, the adjacent margins, they are united, and the ovules disposed along the inner walls of the ovary. The ovules are to be on the inner side, like in tomato. If you cut the tomato in this way, if you hold this tomato and if you cut like this, you can see the placentation, how the seeds are arranged. Then axial placentation, here the carpels folded inward. The carpels, they fold inward like this, and the ovules along the central axis of the ovary. Like that is, sorry, I mean the parietal placentation is poppy, axial placentation is tomato. Okay. Then free central placentation, they derive from the axial placentation, which have a central column which bears the ovules. It has a central column which is derived from axial, but that is axial, that means it is folded inward, but they have formed a central column which bears the ovules, like in that case. Then basal placentation, they have ovules which is positioned on a low column at the base of the ovule, like in sunflower. The low column at the base which forms the ovules, okay, which is sunflower. Then laminar or superficial placentation, where ovules are scattered over the inner surface of the carpel, like in mbrosium. Marginal placentation have one elongated placenta. Elongated placenta located on one side of the ovule, like we see in the peas, sweet pea, or not sweet pea, let's say it's peas. If we open the pea, the legume of the pea, then we can see that the seeds are arranged, the pea seeds are arranged in a margin. So that is marginal placentation. Ovules are arranged at the line of the carpel's margin. So this is the picture of placentation. See, they are arranged in a line. This is marginal placentation. This is the TS, that is transverse section. This is the LS, that is longitudinal section. In parietal, see, these are folded inwards. Okay. Here, this are I mean, these are folded in axial, okay. Marginally, I mean, they are arranged, they are joined, united at the sides. Okay. Here they are folded inward, that is axial presentation. Precentral, they are folded inward and they form a central column where the roots are arranged. So that is precentral. This is the basal here where they are, at the base they are arranged. Okay, at the lower points they are arranged. And superficial is scattered inside. So this is a laminar, you can say superficial or laminar. So this is the end of this chapter, placentation. Then we will start with the ICSE pattern questions in my next video. Till then, go through this chapter. Any doubt, please do write in the comment box. You can also write to my email ID, that is kasturi74@gmail.com. Okay. And don't forget to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed yet. And if you have subscribed, please ring the notification bell so that when and as soon as the new video is uploaded, you can get the notification. Okay. And if you are liking the videos, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And don't forget to meditate before starting your day. Okay, that will be a benefit for you all, especially you students. Okay. So thank you for joining and have a